Traveling a little bit. So I've got, looks like a couple people now are saying that they can see me and they can hear me. So anyway, again, this is Lee Kendrick, founder of CreditUturn, coming to you live March 2nd, episode 11 or 12. Can't remember exactly which one right now, but just want to welcome you to our live stream series where we come to you with valuable daily credit tips. So my desire is to help you achieve your goals. And through that, I'm able to accomplish my why, plus also helping you accomplish your why, because at the beginning and the end of every day, it's not about whether or not you're fixing your credit, it's about whether or not it's improving your life, whether or not you're getting better terms on credit that you're trying to achieve, or if you just feel more confident about yourself, whatever it is. And that's the only way that both of us win. So again, I'm making this investment in you, giving you daily credit tips. In return, all that I ask is that you do some things for me and for us, so that I can also make the same impact on other people's lives as well. And that is to subscribe. Subscribe to our social media channels, like our pages, rate our app, review our app. If you would, please write us a nice review about the mobile app and what you think about it. We happen to think it's pretty cool, but I have a little bit biased opinion. We've been in development on this thing for quite a while, and really enjoy what we do, and hope that it adds a lot of value to your life. In return, we just ask that you subscribe and like and rate and review us, and also that you help us go viral with this. Help us share the secret to your cure for credit, okay? Help us share that. So the way that you can do that is you can tap that hamburger icon, those little 3 horizontal lines that are in the top left corner of the mobile app. And whenever you do that, it opens up a menu, and the third link down is a share feature. And whenever you tap that share feature, you have many different ways that you can recommend our mobile app to your friends, family, coworkers, even your exes or your enemies. So please help us make this go viral, so that I can not only help you accomplish your why, but I can also help millions of other people accomplish their whys as well. So, and before we hop into today's topic, the impact of student loans on your credit reports, your credit files, and your credit scores, I'd like to thank our awesome partners again. We have a lot of awesome partners in the automotive, real estate, mortgage, and banking industries, and I think that they deserve some special attention just because they are different than everybody else in those industries, in that they recognize that there are problems that their prospects or their customers face. And sometimes those problems are things that they couldn't avoid, and they want to make sure that they're adding value in their prospects and their clients' lives. And something that's a lot more real and tangible than just like a discount for services like oil changes, or a discount on a product that you offer. So the thing about them being able to recommend a tool that assists you and automates the process and your journey for you, so that you can automate your process or automate your journey to better credit. Sorry about that. It's the Mondayest of Mondays ever. So we've had our challenges all day long. So I apologize in advance for me stumbling over some words occasionally. So just please overlook that. But we have some incredible partners. They do see how this can make a tremendous impact in their communities, in their prospects, and in their clients' lives, and something that's a real tangible value of anywhere from several hundred to thousands and thousands of dollars per person. So again, be thankful that they are providing this tool to you. That's the way that we're able to make this where it does not cost you anything for you to repair your credit. The only thing that you're doing is either getting daily tips that you're using to prepare your own disputes, or you're automating the process by subscribing to credit monitoring. And regardless of which path you go, you're going to need credit monitoring anyway. So I encourage you to try out the app and go ahead and upgrade and check out our credit monitoring, because once you do that, then it automatically starts analyzing your reports and automatically starts helping you with your dispute process. So please try it out. There are no contracts. It's easy to cancel should you choose to cancel. Most of our clients stick with us for a long time, because in today's day and age, you need credit monitoring just so that you can prevent identity theft, or at least alert you in the event that somebody is trying to steal your identity. So let's go ahead and talk about the impact of student loans on your credit files. There are a lot of different things to discuss whenever it comes to student loans, and it's a very, very hot topic recently, just because there is a tremendous amount of student loan debt that exists countrywide. And there are some things that maybe I can address, so I'm not going to stand up on a soapbox for long or anything, but as you can tell, I didn't go to college yesterday, and I'm not currently in college, and I know that the cost of an education has changed drastically, but so has your access to loans. Whenever I went to college, it was a lot more difficult in order to qualify for a student loan, and they didn't give student loans out just arbitrarily, and you didn't get to borrow like all of your living expenses either. If you wanted to have additional money for living expenses, you had to go out and get a job. You had to do something, or you went and you served our country by going through the military, which is still an option for you. The phenomenal thing about today's day and age that didn't exist back then, even though the cost of college educations are so much more, are that there are many employers out there, and there are a lot of programs that are available out there for certain industry types, where if you will provide services in communities that need assistance, and you have a certain type of degree, they will absorb your college education costs. They'll absorb your student loan costs, or those student loan expenses will get waived after so many years of providing services, or like teaching, or being a firefighter, or whatever it is in communities that need your assistance. So I encourage you that if you haven't checked out those opportunities, that you should. I also think it's a great thing to be able to serve our country in the military. I'm definitely a huge proponent of our veterans. Love to be able to help them out in any way possible. And that's another reason why I started our mobile app, is because there are a lot of veterans that need our assistance. They get called to duty in the middle of the night oftentimes. They don't know where they're going. They don't know how long they're going to be away, and they're not getting their mail. Their bills might not be getting paid. They'll have late payments. There is a law out there that protects them, in addition to other mainstream laws, the Service Members Civil Relief Act. So if you're not aware of that and you are a veteran, I definitely encourage you to become a little bit more aware about your availability to be able to utilize that, or you can utilize the power of that mobile app to assist you, because that fuzzy logic, that artificial intelligence, is built into the app for you. So some of the pros of having student loans, in addition to you being able to educate yourself and get an education and be able to pursue a meaningful degree that hopefully is going to help you repay your student loans, something that's a lot more than, and I'm not picking on anybody out there, okay? I realize there are useful instances where Greek mythology might be something that pays the bills, okay? You might want to be a professor, or there might be other applications that help you do that. I will encourage you also, there are a lot of employers and opportunities that don't require degrees that could still allow you to pursue your interest as well. So definitely look into that. But anyway, I'm kind of getting a little bit off topic, and I'm pulling my soapbox away. So one of the advantages to having a student loan in your credit file is if you have a thin credit file, or if you have a poor credit file. So a thin credit file means that you don't have much credit or any credit at all, or you've had negative credit in the past and you need some positive credit to appear in your credit report. I'm not encouraging you to go get into debt unless you're going to pursue something meaningful. However, if you are needing to pursue something meaningful, or something meaningful that you can go study and obtain a student loan to help you pay for your studies is going to be a benefit to you, that can also benefit your credit report, because by introducing that positive trade line into your credit files, your scores can explode. I've actually seen people add one student loan into their credit file that either have a thin or no credit, thin credit file or no credit file, or they've had a bunch of negative credit in the past. Just by doing that, I've seen positive credit score lifts of anywhere from 40 to over 100 points in as little as 30 to 60 days, in addition to doing some other things to dispute and challenge information if they've had past credit issues. So kind of keep that in mind, that there is that tangible benefit to adding and introducing a positive trade line into your credit file. And we've talked about that in the past. So if you need to get an automobile, and you haven't taken advantage of one, go out and see one of our CreditUturn partners. Our CreditUturn partners are cut above the rest, and it's the same thing as you adding a student loan in there. By you adding that positive trade line, it can help you. The same thing with you adding a positive credit card into your credit files. If you don't have credit cards, you need to have a good mix of credit types. Okay, so revolving, installment, mortgage credits, those are mixing your credit types, and that demonstrates that you're able to handle something that has a variable balance as well as an installment type of balance like a student loan. So a student loan is supposed to have a balance that goes down, but we're going to address that here in a moment because that's not always the case. So another benefit of you having a student loan in your credit report is if you're paying it on time. Timely payments is the biggest area that you can improve your credit files and improve your credit scores with, is by making sure that you're paying bills on time. So by adding in that positive trade line and also paying it on time, it has a double impact. So now you've added in some additional mix, you've added in a current file that maybe you didn't have, and you're paying it on time, so that has another positive effect. Also, if you have the ability, which I always tell everybody, be fiscally responsible. So whenever you are obtaining something, pay extra. Whenever you're paying extra and accelerating your payments, that's also helping your credit reports. And another way that you can accelerate your payment history is also by consolidating your student loans. So whenever you go out and you take advantage of consolidating, so let's say that your student loans came out of deferment, or they're not out of deferment yet, and you want to apply to consolidate those into one student loan so that you have a lower, more manageable payment on one, as opposed to having a bunch of different payments and also possibly missing a payment. By consolidating your student loan debt, that's the same principle as you accelerating, because what it does, it takes all of your other student loans and now they have zero balances. And by having a zero balance, it shows that you've paid off credit trade lines, and that can be a huge benefit to you. So just kind of keep that in mind, that by also consolidating, it accelerates your payment history to show a zero balance. Another thing is, again, by you obtaining a student loan and you obtain a meaningful degree. And whenever I'm talking about meaningful for you, and I also personally subscribe to the theory that meaningful for the common good of man, okay? Whenever I talk about things like being loyal to our partners and going back and shopping again with our partners, our CreditUturn partners are better than, it also comes right down to just doing the right thing. And I'm a firm believer that whenever you do the right thing and you obtain a meaningful degree that's good for you and also good for your communities and good for mankind, that you're spreading positive karma, and that's at the end of the day is going to help out your credit files, not just by magic, but it's also just going to be that you feel better about yourself, you're earning a good income, you're being responsible, you're paying your debts on time, you're accelerating your payment, and it's just going to result in pros, which means that your credit score is going to explode through the roof. So those are some great positives. I'm sure that there are others, but those are things that were just on the top of my mind. So let's talk about some of the negatives of student loans. Let's go back to if you don't receive or pursue a meaningful degree, or let's just say that you're being a student for life. You can't figure out what you want to do. Sometimes it's still important for you to figure out what you want to do. I'm not telling you not to, but just think about what it is that you're trying to pursue. And I really strongly encourage you to put your nose in the books, study hard, test out great, accelerate, try to obtain your degree as fast as you can, just so that you can eliminate student loan debt. Okay? So that's again kind of, I pulled the soapbox back in here, going to shove it back away again. So I'm not picking on anybody, but just kind of hang in here with me, because we are going to talk about some negatives. And one of the biggest ones that I see and that I have seen for years upon years in credit files is that oftentimes students forget when their debts come out of deferment. Okay, after you graduate or after you quit taking so many hours, let's say that you decide not to continue classes for a while and then you go back to college, well, your student loans might have come out of deferment, and now all of a sudden you're responsible for repaying those. And if you procrastinated or you didn't open the mail, you didn't read it, you didn't understand something, you didn't talk to your counselors, somebody, whatever, made a keystroke error, it's your responsibility to make sure that you're looking at your credit files on a regular basis, which is also the reason for you to obtain credit monitoring. It's ultimately your responsibility to make sure that those are still in deferment, because once they come out of deferment, now all of a sudden you're responsible for repayment, and now you've got late payments reporting. Okay, that's a huge negative. Okay, so you don't want that to happen. You don't want student loans to come out of deferment that you weren't paying on. If that did happen, the good news is they often make some mistakes, and some of those mistakes look like this. It'll come out of deferment. It won't report that you were 30 days late. It doesn't report that you were 60 days late. And then all of a sudden, magically, it says you were 90 days or 120 days late on the student loan payment. And folks, I just want you to know that the Fair Credit Reporting Act says that you have a right to have 100% accurate, 100% complete, and 100% verifiable information in your credit files. So if it didn't report that you were 30 days late or 60 days late, but magically became 90 or 120 days late, that's not good enough. They have to either fix it or delete it from your credit files. Another thing that happens is credit or student loans often end up appearing multiple times for the same debt in your credit files. We frequently see the same student loan say that you opened it twice on the same day, the same loan. It'll assign a slightly different account number, but it'll be the same balance, it'll be the same open date, same everything, and you have a right to have accurate, complete, and only verifiable information in your credit files. So you can go try to challenge those things yourself using some tips and strategies that we give you occasionally. You're going to need to get credit monitoring so you can identify those accounts, get the dates, get the creditor name, get the account numbers, and follow through and be consistent every 30 days. Or you can subscribe to our credit monitoring service after you download our mobile app and use the power of our automation to automate the process for you in a set it and forget it mode. You can review your letters. You can approve, edit, deny, recreate any letter that you want to. You're ultimately in control, but the app is doing it for you, and it's making sure that you're not having to be the credit expert, and you're not having to remember to revisit this every 30 days, and you're not having to deal with the challenge of what to do whenever they send you stall tactic letters. So just kind of keep that in mind, that oftentimes there's duplicate information. And then there's another thing that student loans do that really adversely impacts your credit scores, and that is whenever you get that student loan, oftentimes they come built in with this wonderful thing that's not so wonderful that's called negative amortization. And I know those are two fancy words joined together that basically mean that your balance is growing when you're not making payments. You're not paying down. So what happens is they're tacking on a little bit of extra interest every month, and your minimum payment or your non-payment is not keeping up with the amount of interest that's becoming due. So your student loan balances are going up as opposed to going down. So again, that's another reason why I talk about your responsibility to make sure that you're managing and monitoring that, accelerating your payments. And the biggest and best thing is make sure that you're only taking out the amount of student loan debt that you really need, okay? So whenever they're asking you, hey, do you want a whole bunch of extra money for living expenses, you need to just buckle down sometimes, and you just need to say, no, I'm just going to take care of my own living expenses. I'm going to work a little bit. We've got some savings, whatever it is. Try to do those things. If you're just dead set against that and I don't want to work while I'm going to college, that's your prerogative. That's up to you. I'm not condemning you in any way, shape, form, or fashion. I'm just telling you to be fiscally responsible because ultimately it's your responsibility. Now, a way out of that, again, is at some point in time consolidating. Another way out is military service. Another way out is working through student loan forgiveness programs through situations that I was mentioning to you earlier, where whenever you come out and you've got your degree, that you can provide service within certain communities, and those communities or those companies might turn around and reimburse some or all of your student loan expenses for you, so that your student loan debt is wiped out, okay? So, or at least a portion of it's wiped out. So you have some options, but you need to be very aware that negative amortization is a horrible thing for your credit files, because part of your credit files is, are you paying down your balances? What is your risk of filing bankruptcy? A lot of people think that you cannot include student loan debt in a bankruptcy, but you actually can. A lot of attorneys don't like dealing with it. It's a very messy situation to work through. They really, in all truth and all fairness, they really don't think that it's right that they paid their student loan debt and they did the right thing. And here you might be sitting in front of them wanting to have $100,000 or $200,000 or maybe even $300,000 worth of student loan debt wiped out, and they just think that something's wrong with that. So they basically just say, you can't. And sometimes they don't know any better. Sometimes it's very expensive and it's very time consuming, but there are not every situation where can you wipe it out, but there are situations where you can. So that's a whole nother topic, because bankruptcies are not good for your credit files. So negative amortization, the way it works is, I want you to think about you having a credit card and you've got a $5,000 limit, but you charged it up and now you've got a $5,100 balance. Well, obviously that's a bad thing that you went over your limit. So your credit score is going to tank. It's going to bottom out because you went over your limit. And it's the same thing happens with student loans. Your credit scores tank. So you need to be aware of that and know what you can do to resolve those situations. So it's kind of a combination of everything. And again, I'm not taking shots at anybody. I'm not condemning you. This is a really hot topic. I know that we live in a world where a lot of people think that you're just ultimately pointing at them and telling them that they are making bad decisions and they're doing bad things. I'm not. Okay, I'm genuinely telling you that there are ways that you can get around and out of things and what you need to do to work through certain situations. And there are some credit laws that benefit you as well, because again, remember, they have to be 100% accurate, complete, and verifiable. So just kind of keep that in mind. And also, another negative with student loans is that it can really make your credit files really lopsided. And what I mean by that, let's say that you're 23 and you just came out of college. You've got your 4-year undergraduate degree. You might be working on a master's degree now or not. But now you've got all this student loan debt, but for some reason you never opened a credit card. And you might not have a car loan, and you don't have a mortgage loan. Well, now all that you have is you've just got a bunch of installment debt that may or may not have fallen behind, may or may not have come out of deferment, probably has negative amortization. It looks bad. Your credit scores are stinking, and you need to have the right mix of credit, and you need to have a positive payment history. So you got to establish that stuff pretty quickly. So a combination of disputing your information if you have anything that's not accurate, complete, and verifiable. That's you definitely need to pursue that. The second thing you need to do is being proactive about looking at student loan forgiveness options, things that you can pursue yourself. That you might do as far as debt consolidation or seeking out some sort of assistance through communities or initiatives where you can provide services in exchange for wiping out some of your student loan obligations. You could also look at just getting a loan, or maybe you're fortunate enough to be able to have a family member that could come in and wipe some things out for you, or at least pay some things down so it's manageable and you can get them all lumped together in one student loan or one type of loan. Just take a look at those things. So basically, again, folks, I just wanted to make sure that you know what your options are, that you know that there are positives of getting a student loan, that you know that there are negatives of getting a student loan. I had student loans whenever I was going to college, I'm just going to give you a little secret. College ultimately wasn't for me. I went to college at a really young age, and I didn't graduate. I ended up figuring out at a very young age that I wasn't for sure what my path was was at that point in time. So I went and served our country. And then after that, then I started working in the automotive industry, and quickly realized that I didn't have to have a degree to make a bunch of money. I also worked insane hours, so there was a drawback to that, but I learned a lot about selling, learned a lot about other things moving throughout life. There have been moments that I've looked back and wished that I had gone ahead and obtained my degree, and moments that I actually considered about going back to obtain a degree. But I'm also subscribed to the belief that if you want something bad enough, that you can go do research and you can find out the answers, and you can just go show somebody that you're knowledgeable, show somebody that you're educated. Elon Musk recently said he doesn't care if you didn't graduate high school. He just wants to see people that got a head on their shoulders and that are capable of critical thinking. And not to say that you have to go work for Tesla, but there are a lot of things that you can just go do that it just takes common sense and applying yourself. And you all have this wonderful resource in today's day and age. It's called Google. It's called YouTube. If you ever want to learn something, you just go to YouTube and Google, such as you might be looking at this video, and you might have found me on YouTube, and you're looking at ways that credit scores are impacted by student loans. So there you go. You might be one of those people right now that's self-educating yourself, and kudos to you if that's what you're doing. So and another thing too is that I just wanted to share with you that I've got an awesome development team. I've got some awesome partners, and myself, and I know a lot of people that I've met throughout my life that are awesome, wicked, smart people that don't have a degree. There's nothing wrong with you not. And I'm also thankful to the people that did go get a degree. I'm very thankful to the doctor. I'm very thankful to the attorney. I'm very thankful to the teachers that I had in the past. So there's no right, no wrong path. So as far as the takeaway on this, again, not taking shots at anybody. Just know that there are pros and cons. So be loyal again to our CreditUturn partners. If you go out shopping for an auto or a home loan, or you're looking at banking, or you're looking at buying a house, ask them if they're a CreditUturn partner. If they aren't a CreditUturn partner, share with them why they should be. If they're not a CreditUturn partner, I would also encourage you to go find a CreditUturn partner that's in your area that you can reach out to. We'll be adding a resource section into the app someday soon, where you can tap on state and you can look geographically to see who CreditUturn partners are in your area. So just know that that's coming someday soon. So again, thank you guys for your time. Please help us spread our mobile app. Please help us make us go viral. Subscribe to our pages, like our content, rate our app, review our app, engage with us in our forum. Oh, and before I forget, if somebody would, just before this live stream ends, please drop a link in our chat section to CreditUturn.com. So if somebody's watching this video and they don't know where our website is located at, that they can at least obtain that. So please drop that link in there. But guys, again, thank you for your time. Please help us make this go viral. We love what we do. We love helping you fix your credit so you can accomplish your whys. Thank you again, and I will see you